Hello everyone, and welcome to the second race of the season with Apex Racing League. We're of course in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and you join me as usual on my outlap for qualifying. This video was a bit shorter than usual, so I've included all of my qualifying laps, all of my attempts at qualifying laps at least, in order to make it a little bit longer, and it makes it much more entertaining as well. So, as I said, on my outlap then, trying to get my tyres nice and warm on primes as normal. Going to be qualifying primes, you can see on the mini map. I have managed to come out in front of everyone else, so that was a bit of a victory. We have got all 16 drivers qualifying today, so it's quite important to get out there rather than be in some traffic. As you can see, he's occurring behind me there on the straight. They're all very tight indeed. So I come on the final corner now to start my flying lap, trying to minimize wheel spin, get the ARL open nice and early, get KERS activated. As we now come across the line. So straight into the rev limiter then, 196 miles an hour. Breaking halfway between the 100 metre boards and the 50 metre boards on the left hand side there. Right down to first gear, trying to keep a nice tight line, keep it over to the right hand side for a good swing in for the second corner, get on throttle nice and early to get a good exit, since it's quite a long run to the end of the first sector. So that's the first sector done. Looks pretty good so far. And what's the time going to be? So 23.8, not bad. I've done a 0.6 in practice, and oh, I missed my apex though, ran wide. Meant I had to not get on throttle quite so early. And got a bit of grass on my rear tyres, I think. Slid the rear out slightly, trying to hold the ARL open as long as possible. Oh, more sliding there. And the fast left right, so it's not been a great lap. It's still not too bad. I'm still going to carry on in order to get a banker in. So I've got at least something half decent on the board. But I can certainly go faster than this so far. So heavy braking now right down to first gear for this very tight left-hander. Get on throttle hard and early from the exit 55.6. I've done a 55.2 in practice, so 4/10 down on my personal best. But it's still a reasonably good lap, so I can't complain too much. Just shutting DRS briefly around that corner just to, since it's a bank lap, just trying to get a safe lap in. You can do it with DRS open, but it is a bit risky. It does sometimes go wrong, so it wasn't worth it on that particular lap. It's all running a bit wide there once again. DRS is open, KERS is activated then, up through the gears. So we're going to be hitting the rev limiter just for this final corner then. Just going to play it reasonably safe on this final corner. Don't want to be pushing too hard. Actually, that pretty much nailed that. Can't really get a much better final corner than that. Coming to the line now then, what's the time going to be? It's a 33.867, so in the end about 6/10 off my PB. I've done a 0.3 actually, I've done about half a second off my PB. So it's about a further 10th in the final sector. So it's still a very good lap, I'm still happy with that. As we skip now ahead to the next lap that I do in quali. You can see I'm down in third place now. I was provisionally on pole after that first lap, but a few people beat me and pushed me down to third. And which is just behind me there, my teammate. Hence the little yellow marker next to his position there in the top left. So coming to the end of the first sector, I'm half a tenth up, and actually a couple of hundredths up on pole position as it stands at the moment. So it's been a much better first sector, well, not much better, a little bit better first sector. DRS is open now. Coming through this fast corner as, it's pressed back and stepped out on me, and no, got off the track. Tried to get DRS open a bit too early, and then had to straighten the wheel too early and push me off the track. It's because I was compromising in the middle of those two corners, so I decided to push. Tried to open DRS too early, didn't quite work out for me, but there we go, we're on to the next lap then. So those first two laps were single lap tries on the sets of tyres. So I came in at the end of both of those laps. Well, the first lap came in after the in lap, and that last lap I did come in at the end of that actual lap. So I could just about get enough time to set 2 laps on this final set of tyres. As I'm nearly a 10th down in the first set, 10th and a half down on pole now as Victor's on pole. I'm back in 5th so far. So that half a second to my PB. I need to try and get it if I can as Christian retires there. He's done for the day. Got a minute left, so we'll get another lap in after this one. So to push hard. Try and improve this one if I can. DRS is open then. It's been a tidy middle sector. Oh, there's a bit of blue there. Not sure what that was. I think it's a bit of the barrier, actually, a bit of the polystyrene advertising banners. And no, I'm a 10th down. So I've lost a further half a tenth or so in the middle sector. I'm now half a second down on Victor for pole. So I believe Victor's done a 30, there we go, yeah, 33.450. It's a pretty good lap, but I can beat that. As I said, my PB is a 0.3, and a 0.2 is possible. When I put together my fastest sector times, it's only just very close behind me there. I know this lap's not going to be improvement, I need to do better, but I'm not going to back out of it because I need to cross the line for another lap, and I don't want to be letting anyone pass, so pushing hard to try and stay ahead of him, which I've managed to do. Run a little bit wide in the final corner, but that's good because it gives you a better slingshot out of it. DRS open then, so the pressure's on now. 13 seconds left of the session, I will be able to complete the next lap. Using all my KERS then. Second down in the end I was on pole. I'm down to 7th now, so I've been pushing down even further, so braking very late for the first corner then. right down to first gear, keep it nice and tight, which I have done. Otis retired there, he's done. He's behind me, so I've already out-qualified him. Let's get a good run in out this second corner. It's all a little bit wide there, but it's not too bad. Use a bit of curves. DRS is wide open then for the run to the end of the first sector. I need to be up if I can, ideally purple, but we'll see about that. And I'm up, but not quite purple, not fastest of anyone, but I am up on pole. 100th up on pole, 600th up on my previous best, so it's looking good. It's our best first sector of this session. Certainly not my personal best though, but still can't complain. So come through as fast, left, right then. I've just about managed to keep it 2 wheels inside the white line there. That's a little bit of DRS between the corners. Pushing very hard, as you can see there, running right out wide once again, get my wheels onto the white lines. Just about managed to keep it in legals. There's a blue thing right there, oh that put me off. I can tell you that did put me off. It actually made me brake a little bit later than normal, but I did just about get away with it. 2 tenths up then, so it's looking good. I'm only 10th down on pole, so I couldn't even take pole position with this last lap. Can tell you Victor did his qualifying lap on options. I found this out after the session. Let's check my DRS once again, because I want to just get a safe lap in. I need to improve it. I'm right down in 7th place at the moment, so that's not good. I'm quite a way back. So pushing hard then, using all of my curves for the run down to the final corner. I need to get improvement even a couple of tenths. I think I'll move you up a little way, so even a couple of tenths would do, but I'm still pushing hard, trying to get a half-decent one, but I did do a little bit of conservative final corner. That's, oh, I get a little bit of oversteer there. DRS is wide open then for the run to the line. What's the time going to be? It's a 33.527, and that gives me 2nd place. 2nd place in qualifying then, just 700ths off pole position in the end. So I was the leading prime runner. As I said, Victor is on options. Christian behind me is on primes. So look at that, top 10, covered by more or less half a second. So that just shows how competitive this season is going to be. Before, you were lucky if you got, well last season rather, you were lucky if you got top 2 or 3 covered by half a second, let alone top 10. So fantastically close. I only improved by about 3 tenths, but that moved me up about 6 positions, 5 or 6 positions, so really did need to do that. As I flip through my setup now, I can tell you, since I'm the coordinator, I'm supposed to get the qualifying results. I did forget to scroll down to the bottom when I was viewing those results. I was a little bit too wound up after qualifying, in a good way. I just couldn't believe it. That absolute last-ditch effort. Managed to put it on 2nd place. Front row of the grid. Couldn't be happier. Only there, not quite so good for him down in 8th. But I still expect a solid showing for him. But we're on the grid now then. As I said, options on the right-hand side there. Should get a better start than me. Options behind me. Christian alongside me. He was on prime, so hopefully better that same 5 lights in the right then. So straight to Richard to then minimise wheel spin, which I have done pretty well. A little bit of wheel spin at the end of the first gear there, but it's not too bad using my curves now. Trying to get a good run Victor, but no, he's managed to pull away, so I'm going to stop using my curves, save it for the later on the lap, and everyone's gaining on me behind me, so they're going to try and brake late, go on the outside of Victor. Right down to first gear it is, giving him plenty of room. And you can see he's right on the inside there, so I don't want to be cutting him off too badly, and he's going on the outside of me. I'm going on the inside line now. So he's got a foot down nice and early, giving plenty of room, using the rest of my curves then, and he's right alongside me, and there's a bit of contact there, but just about ahead of him, but I'm going to need to go on the inside for this next corner then. That's not good, but I'm quarter of a car length ahead of him, so apparently we're identical times across that last line as I'm running very wide there. Ran a bit wider than I intended, but oh, looks like I'm just about ahead. Yes, I'm ahead, and I'm coming into this corner on the inside, so that's giving me the lead of the race. So just the start I needed and wanted to be ahead of Victor, and now luckily that's just for the fast corners as well, so he'll be in my dirty air and he should drop back. So should give me a bit of breathing room. As yes, already dropping back a little way, so I needed that start. I thought actually Christian on my inside there into the first corner, and maybe even the McLaren, if he decided to go dive to the inside, might get me there, but I decided to just go for it, try and get all the way around the outside of Victor. I knew the inside line was gone, no chance of getting that, so I decided to dive around the outside. Braked very late indeed, and managed to make it stick on the outside just about. But we were battling right through quite a few corners there, weren't we? So fantastic driving, I must say, from Victor there to avoid me, and also from me, of course. Just to avoid each other. Very good driving there, very clean. So coming to the final corner now then of the first lap, 28 laps in this race, as it does look very dark there, lots of clouds, but we have been promised 0% rain by the car monitor, by the game, so there shouldn't be any rain, but it does look very ominous there, doesn't it? So, and I'm already 1.5 seconds ahead of Victor. Wow, so it's not been a good first lap for him. I suspect he's been having to defend from the guys behind him, as I brake too late there, run out right out wide, but I managed to bring it all back in. It's not too bad, probably cost me maybe a tenth or two, so not too bad there at all. I just need to push now, to stay on rich mixture, push very hard, try and pull out a gap, much like Onage did. Onage did in Melbourne last race, purple first sector. Much like Onage did last race, just pull out a gap to the guys behind me, and hopefully they'll be battling all race, and I can just pull out a lead and cruise to victory. That's the plan. That's what I always planned 4 from second place on the grid. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I knew I needed to get the job done, ideally on the first lap. Of course, still needs to be relatively conservative. I didn't want to be ramming anyone off or getting spun around myself or anything, so... But it's been more or less a perfect start for me. Can't really have asked for much better. Especially as now I'm pulling away. What's the gap now? It's up to 2.3 seconds, so definitely pulling out a gap. So still pushing very hard though. Trying to get the gap out to 3 or 4 seconds. I'd be a bit more comfortable, because if I was to make a mistake now, Victor would be right on top of me. So I like to have enough gap so that I can cover off any mistakes I might make. Not that I do make many. I'm usually pretty consistent during the race, but still want to cover it off just in case. As we come down the back straight now then, towards the final corner, look on the minimap, looks like there's an even bigger gap, look at that. Between first and second is the biggest gap across the whole field. Look how close that is, it's been 2 laps. That is pretty close. A couple of guys off the back are dropping off a little bit, but especially behind me, look at that pack directly behind me, look how close that is. Fantastic, so 3.1 seconds then, managed to pull out so far, and that's the fast lap of the race I believe, unless anyone beats it behind me. Oh, as I went wide once again there though, please break a little bit earlier for first corner, yes indeed, fastest lap of the race. So 3 seconds already, wow, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Going to standard mix now then, not bothering with Rich. 3 seconds is what I wanted, that's the number I was looking for. So I'm now going to go to standard, conserve some fuel for later in the race. 10th down on my previous, but of course it's to switch to standard, it's got to be expected. So 3.1 now then. So let's see if I can maintain that gap with standard fuel in the middle sector. I'm hoping he can't catch up me again, because of course I can't afford to run Rich. Forgot to mention as well, I'm pitting on lap 17, so I don't plan to pit, and now I'm on cautious fuel. I was too busy talking about qualifying, because it excited me just as much watching it back and commentating it as it did when I was behind the wheel. Fantastic, great entertainment that was, but at the moment, not much entertainment in terms of on-track action during the race. I'm 3.2 seconds ahead of Victor now, so I managed to pull out a little bit further on him. I didn't lose any time actually in the middle sector compared to my previous lap. I was 10th down, but that was from the first sector, so clearly settling in now to my pace. So I'm going to Rich now for the straights only, so the back straight and the long start-finish straight. So obviously there I've got 5 laps spare fuel, so plenty of fuel. Lap 16 it is, I'm pitting, sorry. So plenty of fuel, so no need to conserve it too much. But of course I do still want to conserve it later in the race for a fastest lap attempt, hopefully, if I'm going to be this far ahead. As it was 3.1, I believe, at the beginning of this lap, and it is now 3.6, and about half a second on that lap. As we now flip all the way to lap 14, 15 now. More or less nothing happened in the last couple of laps, or the last 10 laps rather, apart from a few overtakes behind us, but you can see that, a few people in the pits, Ownage is in the pits. And yes, Ownage in the pits, I think Christian isn't. A couple other guys are in the pits, so my teammate is in the pits. He was right up to about 3rd or 4th, I believe, before he pitted. So strong performance from him so far. I've just kept pulling the gap out. I missed the gap as we crossed the start-finish line. I'm sure a lot of you would have caught it, but I was too busy talking about other things. But we're about to get a new gap, so 7.2 seconds then to Barcelona, who's now in second. And of course, because Victor was on fastest lap there. Speak of the devil. Of course, he was on options to begin with, so he had to pit earlier than everyone else. As you can see there, my front left tyre is quite worn, but not too bad. Of course, that's from pushing quite hard, trying to pull a gap out. But I've been more or less cruising pretty much the last 10 laps. Been, of course, pushing, trying to pull the gap out, but not pushing too hard. Of course, didn't really making any mistakes. And I can tell you that over TeamSpeak, which is how we communicate during the race. I did ask Ownage if he pitted last lap. I thought he did, but I thought I'd better double check. And he did indeed pit, so I will now pit at the end of this lap. Of course, I wanted to double check. I didn't want to hold him up in the pits at all, because I've got plenty of gap. I'm not too worried, but he is easy in the pack. So I'm going to double check and I'm going to get options. I've still got 4 laps spare fuel there, so I've gone pretty conservative. I can tell you that after a couple of laps of using Rich on the straights, like I mentioned, I went to using standard the entire lap, so I was on standard pretty much for the last 10 laps. So it's conserving a lot of fuel. Got 4 laps spare now to use on a brand new set of options. It's going to be pushing very hard with high fuel setting. So as Christian now looks like comes to the pits, but Barcelona stays out. Indeed. That's now, we always get a 2.9 second stop pretty much. There we go. We always get the same stops when you're on equal. In career mode, you'll find that the smaller teams do slower stops. But on line mode, at least the cars aren't equal, but at least the pits are equal. As I'm still on lean now for a minute for these first couple of corners. I'm sure I'll go to standard now. There we go. It's my heaters are fastest lap of the race, 37.3. It's only 6 tenths faster though than my lap on high fuel, on prime tyres and beginning of the race, so expecting to be able to smash that. 16.7 seconds there, remember that. We'll see how much faster I am in the middle sector on this lap compared to last lap. Should be quite a bit faster hopefully. Tyres still aren't warm of course, but the fresh tyres, the faster tyres and the fresher tyres should help me a lot. As you see, the front left is warmer than the rest of the tyres, that's why it wears more, because you use it more. As I'm closing on Seoul there, ahead of me. 16.7, so same middle sector. So not helping me too much at the moment while they're cold, but I'm sure they will do. As Barcelona there looking on the mini-ups a little way ahead of Seoul, so I don't think he's got much of a chance of beating him, to be honest. They've stayed out quite long. You can go very long on the option tyres. Seoul must have made a mistake there. He looks a lot closer, doesn't he? He must have made some sort of mistake. Perhaps into the braking for that last corner. It's very tricky to not lock the inside wheel. So yeah, we're only about 2 seconds apart. So he must have lost a second somewhere. This is just me getting faster on these options, but I shouldn't think I'll gain a second in one sector, but there we go. So of course now then, to retake the lead of the race. 2 guys in front of me are pitted. Behind me, so 13.5. Of course, 3 seconds, but last lap I did come into the pit, so makes sense. As we're about to get a gap at the end of this sector to the guys behind me. Looks like Victor might have retaken second place. He does indeed. It's only just a fast lap the race there. My teammate still in a 37.0 and only about just under a second up on my cap on high fuel and prime tyres, so I should be able to beat that. Not purple first sector though, but that's kind of to be expected. I suspect some of the fastest laps, fastest first sectors at least, were set with DRS. 6.4 seconds then to Victor, so it's been a pretty solid race for him, but of course he has, as I said, started on options, so he has had fresher prime tyres than me for the last sort of must have been 6 or 7 laps. To be on the same tyres as me, but he's had newer ones which should have been faster, so still a reasonably big gap. Back to him as I do a purple middle sector then, so fast as anyone so far. On for a fastest lap then, as it is I already am on rich mixture. No point hanging about, I'm going to use it for a few laps now and push. See what sort of lap time I can get out of it. So 6.6 back to Victor now then. So this is, so now he's on the primes and I'm on the options. His tyres will be more worn than mine as well, so I should hope to be able to pull out a nice gap to him now. And this is where I really want to pull a gap out. Over 10 seconds if I can, just because I can. Of course I don't want to be taking any risks, but at the moment I am taking a few risks to get the fastest lap of the race. Oh, I run wide there, very nearly went right out wide. There was a bit of gravel there, you can see it. A little bit, it's a bit of gravel mixed in with the grass. Can get on that, does slow down a lot. And 36.4 then, fastest lap of the race. About 6 seconds or so to Onage, who was the previous fastest lap holder, so a lot faster there. But I feel like I can go faster than that. I'm just getting into the swing of things. It takes you a little while to relearn the braking points with these fresher tyres. Learn how late you can brake, how much speed you can take into the corners. It takes a few laps to learn all that. Really learn how much grip rather these tyres are giving you. So a 10th lap already, first sector still not purple though. As I said, DRS users are probably doing it. Good first sector times there, 7.7 to Victor then, so definitely putting out a nice gap to him. So it's looking pretty good so far for the win. Only 10 laps left to go. I'm 7 seconds ahead, that means the guy behind me would need to be probably about 7 or 8 tenths or so a lap faster than me. Over the next 10 laps to beat me, which is unlikely, because I'm another 2 tenths up on my lap then, so of course that means it's purple. So 2 tenths up, so I'm on for a 36.2. If I can maintain the gap, I'm hoping to be able to push hard and get a bigger gap on the go. Not a bigger gap, rather a better sector, faster lap, I mean. Of course I'm still on rich. So I only use about half my curves this lap. I'm going to save it up for the run for the next lap. To give me a boost down the long start finish straight for the next lap. Get a better lap time out of it. Does particularly help during the race if you do that. So we go then, using the curves. Not a lot, didn't quite manage to make his line with it, but still, that's half a second up though, so I gained quite a few tenths in that final sector. So 35s I'm into now, 35.9. So pretty good lap, but I still definitely feel like I can go faster than that. So still pushing hard, still got 2 laps spare of fuel. 2 laps left of using rich. So that's definitely a good thing, got plenty of time to set good laps. sky's looking even more dark now as I do a purple first sector, finally, 10th up on my previous. They come very close to cutting the corner there, but just about managed not to. So a 10th up then on my previous, so on for 35.8 as it stands. I keep finding 10ths, don't I, in the first sector. 10th every lap I've found so far. So I'm pushing very hard now, and I've managed to cut the corner there. I turned in too early, and at that point, if I would have avoided corner cutting, I would have wound up running out wide anyway, so I figured the cut would be the better way. As long as I don't do it too often, it's okay. That was a mistake. Effectively, I've actually lost time now. I've lost 2/10 in the middle sector, so I certainly haven't gained from it. So this lap, not looking like this lap then, will be a fastest lap of the race, but that's okay. I've got plenty of cars left to get another nice new boost onto the next lap. But let's see if I can match that first sector time, because it was pretty good, wasn't it? So fingers crossed I can do it. So another long back straight now, saving about 3/4 of my cars now. So I should be able to boost all the way to the first start finish line pretty much. It's also getting a wider run then to get a nice slingshot, so really we're treating this like qualifying now. I've got the room to. Plenty of gap to the cars behind me. So here we go then, just about managed to use up all my cars before the line, so I'll have a nice bit of straight line speed then coming down this back straight. So braking very low and almost towards the 50-metre boards we're braking now. So I'm 9.5 seconds ahead of Victor now. I think unfortunately he's about to lose out to the cars behind him, since he's now on primes and the guys behind him are on options. Such is the advantage of running this strategy. The prime option strategy is Christian does the fast up there, 35.7, so 2/10 up. Pressure to me, there's another 10th up there. First sector, I think he must have used DRS there, to be honest. So I do cut that last corner, unfortunately, but I'm a 10th up. Rather unfortunately, when you corner cut, it doesn't disable your fastest lap. I think it did used to in the older games, 2010 and 2011, but it doesn't anymore for some reason. So I will still be able to set the fastest lap. So unfortunately that means if you was to dive across the corner, huge corner cut, it would still allow me the fastest lap if I was to manage it. So a little bit unfortunate, but there we go. Half a second up on previous though, so it's looking very good. On for a 35.5 by my reckoning, somewhere around there. So it's looking very good. Purple then, I am faster than Christian. Couple of tenths. It's 11 seconds to Mikey now, so Mikey's managed to get Victor. But 11 seconds is a massive lead, isn't it? Oh, as I run right out wide there, I want to get some grass on my tyres. It's not going to affect me though. All I do is take off a little bit of my straight line speed, but not a lot. I've used all of my curves to make up for it. As the tyre should be more or less clean by the time we get to the corner. It is. It's coming to the final corner now, keeping a tighter line, unlike last lap. And running right out wide to the curb, so should be on for a fast lap of the race here. What's it going to be? It is a 1 minute 35.294, 8/10 up my previous lap, so fantastic lap. And that is my fastest lap of the race. But you do see now, lap 25. I've saved a bit of rich fuel, +1 there, so I've now got 1 lap to attempt a fastest lap. I decided I might better go a bit faster if I had lower fuel, despite having higher tyre wear. So I've conserved that 1 lap, and I'm now going to use it. Gone to Rich then. So we're now 13 seconds. Odage now is in 2nd place, so fantastic driving from him. Only 3/10, so it's very close. It's not a done deal by any means, but fantastic driving from him there to come from 8th place right up to 2nd. It's looking like if he can maintain that, it'll be our second 1-2 of the season. That'll be 2 1-2s in a row. Can't complain about that, so fingers crossed he can keep it. My engineer tells me to go to more conservative fuel setting, but I know I've got enough fuel left in the tank to do at least 1 lap on Rich, so I'm going to do it. That's the gap glitch is there. Apparently there's 40 minutes between Odage and Mikey. So that's not quite right. So coming down to this tight corner now then. Is it going to be purple middle sector? It's not. It is green though, faster than before. 7/10 up on my previous lap. That's pretty much all for using Rich fuel. As you see, I'm pushing very hard now, running right out wide on the curb there. Really trying to squeeze everything out of this lap. Nothing to lose now, more or less 13 seconds, 13.7 now. I can make quite a hefty mistake and still win the lead. In fact, I could probably more or less spin for that amount of time, turn it back round, be still in the lead. Not by a lot, but still just about being in the lead. As we break right down now for the final corner then. Oh, so I nearly went wide there. As it comes to the end of lap 25 then, can I do it fast after the race? I can't. It says 35.359. Half a tenth though off my fastest lap with much more worn tyres. Certainly a good lap. Can't complain too much, very close indeed. But as I run right out wide there. We skipped up 27, the penultimate lap, but I run right out wide. That slows me down, that cost me time definitely. You can see there 1.4 seconds, it cost me quite a bit of time actually. Probably cost me at least a second. And then you've got all the speed that I've lost down this start finish straight, so that probably cost me about 2 seconds, I would say. So that's pretty much my only mistake all race, and I do on the penultimate lap. I put it in a nutshell. I will tell you I was struggling for concentration a little bit halfway through this race. It's very tricky when you're this far in the lead. I was concentrating, but not necessarily on my own driving. I was concentrating on what's happening behind me. I was willing Onage to try and get a second 1-2 for us. Watching his progress, but in both in terms of gap and in terms of the minimap. So I have to go to stand there to avoid running out of fuel. It's 1.8 to Christian, so he's pretty much got it in the bag as long as he doesn't make a mistake. So fantastic racing by him. I haven't actually seen this race yet, but I'm very much looking forward to watching it. I recommend you do too. As I said, 8th, right up to 2nd place. Presumably he doesn't make a mistake. It's a fantastic driving from him. So I have to go to lean to make sure I've got enough fuel, which I have now, optimal. Final lap of the race then, rounding the last few corners to take home my first win of the season. And this win provides me a reasonable amount more satisfaction than it did last season, because there's so many more competitive guys last season. And last season at least I only really had to beat Ben, and that was a win, more or less. But this season it's a lot closer. Doesn't seem it with me and just 1-2s, but it certainly is. Everyone's very quick. You can see still by that minimap there. Look, as I wiggle my wheel now with joy as I come home to take my first win of the season. Confirmation there. P1 Williams, P2 Williams. Our second 1-2 of the season, second in a row, and also fastest lap of the race at 35.294. 45 minutes, I believe that was, of racing, and we're all very close together indeed, especially if you ignore me. So that then puts me up to the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Me and Onage are on equal points. We've of course got a win each and a second place each, but I'm in the lead because of qualifying. So I've qualified better than him. So that's where that came from. So this is the first time, I believe, that I have led a Apex Racing League Championship. Because of course last season I joined late and tried to catch up on Ben, never quite managed it. So first time ever I've been in the lead, so hopefully I can maintain it for the rest of the season. Christian there being very strong, look, 2/3, only 13 points down, not bad at all. Me and Onage has been pretty strong the last couple of races, so fingers crossed we can maintain the momentum for China. Thanks for watching, bye bye.